What's going on YouTube? My name is Zach with Android Digest, and today I'm going to be giving you my first impressions on the Samsung Galaxy Tab S8. So with all that being said, let's get straight into it. Alright, so if you're looking for an S8 Plus impressions video, I've already done one, and I'm going to do an S8 Ultra impressions video as well, so stay tuned to my channel for all types of Galaxy Tab stuff. I'm very excited about all of these Galaxy Tabs. But I've got the Galaxy Tab S8 with me, and I just wanted to give you some general first impressions. So if we go to the tablet itself, it does retail at $699, $50 higher than last year, just like the Tab S8 Plus does, right? So they're very, very similar. And another way those two tablets are similar is really just how similar they are to last year's models. So if you look right here, you're going to see a case right here. And that's because this actually fits all of the cases, including the keyboard case from last year's Tab S7. Alright, so the tablet itself, again, it's a very similar design to the Tab S7. And I have the Tab S7 actually, and if you look at the two devices side by side, you can't really tell the difference. In fact, if I was holding them in my hands, I wouldn't be able to tell the difference either. But this Tab S8, just like the S8 Plus, it does have stronger materials, so it's a little more durable, I should say, against scratches and things like that. So you shouldn't see this device scratch up quite as easily as the Tab S7. And if you look at the design, again, very similar to that Tab S7. Two speakers on this side, two speakers on this side. You do have your micro SD card slot, and you do have the same bezels on the front of the screen that you had on the Tab S7. Now, admittedly, what you're looking at right now, I technically recorded this a day later, and that's because I felt like I missed a couple things and I really wanted to get this right. So let's talk about the display of the Tab S8. So the display, it is not OLED, so that's one thing you are going to notice, but it is still beautiful. It's got a great resolution. It is a wonderful display with very good brightness, with good color accuracy, but of course the blacks won't be quite as black as you would see on that OLED Tab S8 Plus or that Tab S8 Ultra. But this device is actually brighter than those two devices, and it's 120 hertz. It's very smooth, and I think for a lot of you out there, it is a smaller screen, right? So it's an 11-inch screen, but I think a lot of you should really consider this device because a lot of you might want a smaller tablet that's more portable. And when I think of the Tab S8, what I think of is a good secondary device. So if I have the Tab S8 Plus, it's going to be a little bit bigger. It's going to be a little bit better for productivity. But if you have something like the Tab S8, it's not quite as good for productivity. For example, the keyboard is very small, so whatever keyboard you get, whether it's the slim keyboard or if it's the actual keyboard that has a trackpad, either way, you're going to find that both keyboard covers are a little bit crammed. And that's because this is an 11-inch device, and of course, the keys can only be so big for a keyboard, right? When you have an 11-inch tablet like this. So when you look at this device, it's not really meant to be the productivity powerhouse that you're going to see in the S8 Plus. But this does have the same power as the S8 Plus and the S8 Ultra, so you're not really missing a lot as far as performance. You're still going to get 8 gigs of RAM. You're still going to get plenty of storage in this device. You could always bump up to a higher tier storage model if you want, and this does have an SD card slot, so you're not really missing a lot between this and the S8 Plus and the S8 Ultra. So you have a gorgeous display. You're really just missing that OLED part. So if you can deal with that, if you're not someone who's going to care too much about missing OLED, I'm here to tell you that this screen is still really, really enjoyable, and I think this 11-inch form factor is actually great, and it's a great device to actually bring with you. Remember that a tablet, one reason why you get one is so that you could get something very light and portable, and this will be lighter and more portable than something like the Tab S8 Plus, for example. And again, you're not going to miss a beat with performance because this does have that Qualcomm Snapdragon Gen 1. It does have 8 gigabytes of RAM in the base model, and that is more than the RAM in last year's base model. So it's a great device when you look at the basics, right? Because this is going to be great as far as doing your everyday tasks. It's not going to be slow at all. It's not going to slow you down because, oh, I don't have the Ultra. No, this has the same power as the Ultra. So that's amazing when you think about this. If you're someone who wants to save money, if you want a flagship processor, 120 hertz, a gorgeous display, so many people are sleeping on the Tab S8. S8, and I think that's a grave mistake. Of course, it's not that different than the Tab S7, but let me tell you that it's still phenomenal, and I think a lot of you have some reasons still to upgrade to it if you are considering it, of course, because there are some great new things, whether it's the design, it has that, it does have the processor, and also the GPU performance is going to be better, so this tablet will be better for gaming, and you are future-proofing yourself if you get this device, because this device, of course, has a lot of things, like 4 years of software support, for example. That's 4 big operating system updates. That's a huge thing. Now, I know the latency isn't quite as good on the S Pen, so they did upgrade the latency for the Tab S8 Plus and the S8 Ultra, but either way, the latency was not bad at all on the Tab S7. I was absolutely in love with it. Now, if you're a big artist and you do a ton of drawing, you might want a bigger canvas anyway, and you might want something like the Tab S8 Plus or the S8 Ultra, but the S8 is getting slept on so much, and it just drives me nuts that everyone's gonna go buy the Ultra. And what does the Ultra really have? What are you really missing from this Tab S8? The S8 Ultra does have that extra camera, and it's really cool that if you're walking around the room, it can follow you around the room. That's cool for web calls if you have more than one person there, but that's a really minor feature. We're talking about a lot of money here. We're talking about $700, which is the base price of this Tab S8, and you're talking about over $1,000. It's like $1,100 when you're talking about that S8 Ultra. So I think this tablet is phenomenal if you just look at it on its own merit. It's got a tremendous screen. It has great performance. It's going to give you the same performance that you're going to get in that Tab S8 Ultra. It's going to give you the same performance that you're going to get in the Tab S8 Plus. And the screen is going to be a very minor difference. Again, I think the colors are very, very good. The big thing that's going to be different with this tablet that you really have to consider is the size of the display. Again, because it is only 11 inches, on one end it is a lot more portable and it is lighter, but on the other end it's not quite as big if you're using a keyboard cover. Again, the keyboard cover is going to be a big problem if you're someone who wants a big keyboard cover, because of course a little 11-inch keyboard cover is going to be a little bit crammed. But just keep in mind, you're not missing a lot with this Tab S8, and that's really what I'm here to say. My first impressions with this device, it's overall very positive. I'm so glad they didn't really change a lot from the Tab S7. The fingerprint sensor is still here. It's a regular fingerprint sensor. The SD card slot is still here. Now, some of you might have mixed feelings on the fact that this works with all the old cases. A lot of you are going to love that because you could just transfer your old case right to this device. But maybe some of you wanted a better keyboard cover. Maybe you wanted them to make improvements like backlighting. If you want that, you're going to have to go with the Tab S8 Ultra. But this is the place for value, okay? If you want a lighter tablet, you want something more portable, but you still want that power, I'm telling you, I have had a great experience with this device. Now, can I tell this apart from my Tab S7? Not really. If I had both of these on a counter, I would be freaking out because I don't want to lose the S Pen for this one. I know they're both going to work on each other anyway, but the point is, it would be very easy to mix things up if I'm not careful. All in all I'm saying is that this device is basically the Tab S7, and it has a little bit of a more durable body, and overall it's got a lot of the same features, but it is improved with the GPU performance. You have 4 years of updates, and in my testing, it really just seems like the Tab S7. So I know this is a boring impressions video maybe, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't buy this device. Now, if you're someone there who has a Tab S7 already, would I recommend upgrading? Honestly, it would just depend. If you get an incredible trade-in deal or a great deal on the Tab S8, maybe you get a free keyboard cover and you could always sell that slim keyboard cover if you don't like it, right? Absolutely, I highly recommend getting that Tab S8. But if you're someone who doesn't get a great deal and you're sitting there with the Tab S7, you go to eBay, it's only worth $350. Maybe it's only worth $300, and you're looking at the Tab S8 and it's $700. Would I recommend that? No, this device is not $400 better than the Tab S7, right? And if you already have a Tab S7, it will get 1 extra year of software updates, so at least you'll get 1 more update to Android 13. But outside of that, it's going to be a very great device. It's going to be almost as fast as this. It's going to be nearly identical as far as the speed. But I do expect Samsung to continue to give great deals. I expect them to give great trade-in deals or to throw in stuff for free, maybe free accessories. Maybe they'll give you accessory credits for free. This is what Samsung normally does, or they give tremendous educational discounts. So if you see any of those things, I think the 4 years of software updates is a really big deal. You'll start out with Android 12 and you'll get 4 updates from here, and you won't have to get an update right away because it already has that newest operating system. Plus you'll get better GPU performance, and there's a lot of things to like about this Tab S8. But I plan to do more testing, of course. I plan to have a full review out on it, and for the Tab S8 Plus and the Tab S8 Ultra. So this is really the device for those of you who want something smaller, and I do think it's worth buying. So if you want to support my channel, one way you could do so is by checking the links in the description. As you've seen in this video, I did keep it real, and I hope to continue to do that in my full review later. And you can go to my Twitter as well at twitter.com/digestandroid, and you can also follow me there, and I'll share a lot of stuff there as well. So thank you all so much for supporting me, and if you get any more time, feel free to check out some other videos.